Hello, welcome to my screencast tutorial for the day. Today we're going to be using MySQL, and we are going to actually be learning a few cool things about MySQL. So I think what we're going to start off with today is understanding the where query and the order by query, and then go into select distinct and a few other cool things that we might need to become better at SQL. So here you can see we're going to be using the table customer $sign. So this is from the examples exercises we were doing in class. So select name. So what we did here is we selected two columns from the customer $sign table, and you can see here that we pulled name and customer ID. So that's what shows up here. So name and customer ID. Awesome. Okay, so say we wanted to order these customer IDs by, we just wanted not to order by, but I mean to pull just the IDs from 10 to 20, we would use something called the where clause, where query. So to execute this, you can see that it will result in 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and through 20, and you get your customer IDs from there. And basically, you type in where the customer ID and greater than 10. So that's how we're getting those. Now, say we wanted to order these. We would use the order by clause, which I've put in here. And so when you execute that, we got an error. Order by customer ID. Let's try that. Execute. There you go. It orders the customer ID from least to greatest. So now you see 11 through 20 ordered properly from that. Okay. And so that is the order by clause. So next we're going to be going over grouping. So okay, in this case, to basically combine two columns together, you would take say we wanted to take the gender and the name. We would go into our table and we'd go select name plus this space right here. This actually represents a space. So when you make the column, it shows something cool like this, it says John Man Male, so you're combining name plus space plus gender as a new column which says employee gender from the customer table. And so now you have this awesome thing, and you can see that come out there. Now say we were to take away this space, you would see something that looked like this, where the space is taken away. Alright, so now we're going to learn something called the select distinct statement. In this case, we don't really have redundancies or duplicate data, but this command is used to avoid duplicate data, and as you can see, without, in this case, it makes everything very visible, but without the distinct command, you get a very unorganized thing. We said, hey, we need to get the distinct names, so it's going to organize it in I think an alphabetical form for us. Yeah, that's correct. And through the first name. And so you can see how that changes things. A distinct command is to avoid duplicate data, and it's used a lot, so get comfortable with it. Alright, so next we're going to be using a different table because I want to show you the select top command. So here we go. This is the inventory $sign table, and as you can see, we have a ton of quantities here. And so in this situation, we're going to be like, hey, I want to find the top 3 or top 5 quantities. So we're going to do select top quantities. We pulled only the quantity table from here, and we're like, hey, I want the top 5, so you throw in 5. And you're like quantity, and it's from the inventory table, so that's why we put it in there, and we execute. And here you would see the top 5 quantities, and it's a very, very useful query command to use. And yeah, that's alright. So now we're going to go back into the customer $sign table because I want to show you guys the like command. Okay, so the like command is very, very cool. It's able to basically find patterns and organize your data in that type of way. So it's used where in a where clause to search like a specific pattern in a column. Today I'm going to be going over the wildcard, which is the percent figure on your computer. So in this case, we're selecting all the tables. I'll show you what it looks like before. Here, we'll get rid of that. So we're going to select all and show how, hey, there's a bunch of stuff here, you know, like, so let's find, say we wanted to just find the places with street as a defining factor. Or, you know, you can do anything like gender, but we'll go with street right now for just our example right now. So you can put in, you have to put in, remember your where, and you're going to specify which column it's in, address, and you're going to say like, street. So let's try that, execute it, and here you'll see that the patterns with street are shown. And it's a very, very simple but effective thing we need to use in SQL in several instances. So next what we're going to go over is the in command, and this is basically an operator that allows you to put multiple values in the where clause, right? So let's go and try it out. So, sorry, this has the little thing we just put in, but you're going to be using the where again, like we went over in the beginning, and say we wanted to find, so we're going to do where city, because we're going to use that column now, and we're going to put in, so that's your command. You're going to put in some parentheses here, and you're going to be like, hey, I want to find Fullerton, and Fullerton, and let's close that off, and let's say Brea, because these are both very local places to us. So Brea, and we're going to close that off and then break that and then semicolon out. So let's try executing this, and there you go, we have the cities shown, Fullerton and Brea. And so that is also, again, just a way for you to specify multiple values in the where clause, and it's very useful again. So hey, we're back in the inventory $sign table, and the reason we're back here is because I want to go over how to find the average syntax. So here you can see we've got a bunch of quantities, right? So I think that's what we're going to use today. So select average. It's a very simple command. Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Select average, and we're going to throw the column name in there, and we're going to be like, hey, I want to find the average of quantity. Average quantity, and we're going to say from inventory thing to instantiate, that's where we're getting it from, and it's just a simple command, so hopefully this works. And the average is 337, and it's pretty easy and pretty useful thing, so keep that in mind. Remember, select average, that's the command, and from the column you want, and from the table you want. Similarly, the count operator works the same way, and so you can see here that's counting the rows of the quantity. You just throw in count where we threw an average, and you get that, and it's just a very simple command. Remember, the count function returns the number of rows that matches a specific criteria. So after that, let's just keep going through these math functions. So say we wanted to count the quantities in here, we would use the sum function. So replace count with sum, and you should be getting that when we execute. Yes, 6,749, that sounds about right. I can't do that in my head, but I'll say it is. So yeah, and so those are that's the sum function. Okay, for the group by function, I've gotten 2 examples for you. So, okay, that's the example. So this is the group by statement. The group by statement is used in conjunction with aggregate functions to group the result set by one or more columns. So in this situation, you'd be selecting the column name, as we've seen before, and the aggregate function, which would be like count or sum or something of the second column name. You'd specify the table name like we've been doing. You'd use the where thing, and here you would have the column name operator value, and you would need to group it by a new column name. So that's how it basically looks. Now let me show you an example. The example is select shippers. Shippers in this case is, whatever table they're using, shipper name. They're using the count. Remember your aggregate function, and as numbers of orders from orders. So that's where it's coming from, the table orders. So let's you left join shippers. You're specifying that you can do inner join, left join, all that stuff. I'll go over that probably in the next screencast. And then on orders, shippers ID equals shippers dot shipper ID, and you're grouping by shipper name, and that is the group function. And yeah, it's pretty simple. I'm going to continue using these slides because I feel like the group and the having clause are very important to learn, and via SQL it might be a little bit more confusing. So the having clause was added to SQL because the where keyword cannot be used with aggregate functions. So very, very similar to the group functions. Basically another line. You're going to be select the column name, the aggregate function, column name, just like we saw before. Where, group, everything is the same. But at the end you add having aggregate function column name and the operator value. And basically that means, having and the aggregate function, you would put count and the column name. So in whatever column you're using, maybe you're using orders, you do orders dot order, and then you do the operator value. So maybe the order ID or the orders that you're using from whatnot has to be less than 10, and you would put that operator value and it would return you what you wanted. So it's very, very simple. It just takes a little practice. Remember, if having is just the same as the grouping, and just adding a couple things, to basically make a where clause in an aggregate statement. Thank you for listening to my video.